Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan Carlos Monsalve. We're going to play a new show of Baccarat, my favorite casino table game. Today is October 22nd, 2023, and the time of this recording is 10:33 a.m. You like my videos or find them interesting, please give them a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share the videos with others. If you want to support my channel, you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/. Juan Carlos Monsalve. You can find all the scorecards of the uh, shoes that we have played so far in my website, juancarlosmonsalve.com. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me in the comments section. And I would like to know where you are located. Please, in the comment section, write the name of the city, state, or province and country where you live. Thank you and enjoy the game. In front of me, I have the spreadsheet that I use to collect the data of all the games that I play. We have here P equal 1 or player, B equals -1 or red, and T is equal 0 or yellow. The total number of players will be here, the total number of bankers will be here, number of ties will be here, and the total of hands here. On the left side, that's where I will enter the information of player and banker, and on this column here where it says winner, it's going to tell me who won the hand, player, banker, or if it's a tie. On the right side, I collect the data every two hands, every three hands, four, five, six, all the way up to 11, where you will see that automatically as I'm entering the information vertically on the left side, automatically will populate the scorecard on the right side. I want to stop to view the scorecards. We will be able to see the scorecards as they are populating on the right side. But I want to stop. We will go over the scorecards at the end of the show. So first thing that we do on every game is that we burn one card, the same as in the casino. I have an 8 deck shoe here and the discard tray here. Now I have a card. It's a three of clubs. I write down three here and the initial of the card that I'm burning. Clubs. Three of clubs, so 3C. And I burned three more cards besides that one. One, two, three, for a total of four cards that we are burning. With the cards here on my right side next to the shoe. And then we start with the first hand. First card player, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. I have one player and zero banker. I need a third card for both of them. The third card for player is 5 for a total of 6. So I come here with the column of player 6, and the third card of banker is a 0. So 6-0. This is another player hand. First card for player, first hand for player. Next one, player, banker, player, banker. I have a 1-7, so I need a third card for player, no more cards for banker. So this one is one player, 7 banker. So this one was a banker hand. Next card, first card player, banker, player, banker. This is the first tie of the shoe. Six players, six bankers. We don't get any more cards on six player, nor on this case six banker. Player, banker, player, banker. We have zero player, zero banker. Third card for player is another zero, and the third card for banker is a five. So zero, five. You look at the top of the spreadsheet. It tells us that we have one player, two bankers, one tie, and here is filling the information or populating the information on the scorecard. The scorecard that we can see is 72. Player, banker, tie, banker again. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a six player, and banker we have five, and we need a third card for banker, and the third card is a two. So banker gets a seven, and it's good. This is the second banker hand in a row. Next hand, player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural eight player and seven banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Two, one. The third card for player is a zero, so player remains at two, and the third card for banker is a two to go to three. One plus two, three. That was another banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have zero, zero. The third card for player is a zero, and the third card for banker is a four. So player zero, banker four. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have two player, one banker. Third card for player is a zero, so player gets two, and banker one. So that was a player hand, two, one. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have five player and banker seven. We don't get any more cards for banker, and the third card for player is a five. So it goes from five to 10. That is another zero for player, and banker remains at seven. So that was another banker hand. If we look at the top here, it says three players, six bankers, one tie for a total of seven hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have one player and zero banker. Third card for player is a nine, so it goes to zero. One plus nine, 10, that is a zero. And zero banker, we get the third card, and it's another zero. So this one is another tie, zero, zero. So total of hat ties on this shoe, two so far. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Third card for player is a three, from two to plus three is equal five. Player and banker, the third card is a seven. So five, seven. That was another banker hand. And next hand, uh, first card for player, banker, player, banker. We have a seven player and stance, and banker we have zero. We need a third card for banker, and it's another zero. So player seven and banker zero. That was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Third card for player is a zero, so player remains at one, and banker, the third card is a two for a total of four. That was a banker hand. One, four. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural eight player and six banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have player seven and stands, and banker is a four. We need a third card. We get a zero for banker, and that was a player hand 7-0. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We get a seven player and stands, and banker six and stands. So that was another player hand. We had three players in a row. We have seven players, say bankers, two ties on this shoe. Next hand, first card players, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. We have player seven and stands, and the third card for banker, we have one. So that was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have seven player and stands, and banker is a seven as well, so 7-7. That is a tie. If we look at the left side of the information that I'm entering, we have 7-7-7-7, four sevens on the player side, and these sevens gave a few wins to the player. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now it turns to the other side. We have a zero player and a natural eight banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have one and three. The third card for player is a seven for a total of eight. And we have a seven, so we need a third card for banker, and the third card is a zero. So a banker remains at three. So that one was a eight player, three banker. That was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural nine banker, and player is a six. So six player, natural nine banker. That was a banker hand. We look at the top of the spreadsheet. It says bankers 10 and players 9. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a 3 and 1. So the third card for player is a 6. So this 3 goes to 9, 9 player, and the third card for banker is a 6 for a total of 7 banker. So that is a player hand 9-7. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a player 1 and banker 1, so we need the third card for both of them. The player with a 0 as a third card remains at 1, and the banker gets a 5 for a total of 6. So that one was a banker hand, 1 6. One player, six banker. Next hand, first card player, second card excuse me, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. We have two player and zero banker. We need a third card for both of them. This 2 plus 7 is a 9 player. And banker, the third card is a 0, so it remains at 0. That is another player hand, 9 0. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 0 player, 1 banker. We need a third card for both of them. The player got a 4, and banker, the third card is a 6 for a total of 7. So next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 3 player, 3 banker. We need a third card for player, and we have an 8. So the 3 player plus 8, that's a total of 11, or 1 player, and because we have an 8 as a third card for player, we don't get any more cards for banker, so it remains at 3. So that one was another banker hand. We have total 13 bankers, 11 players. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 6 player and stands and 0 banker. We need a third card for banker, and it's a 3. So 6 player, 3 banker was a player hand, 6 3. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 3 player, 1 banker. Third card for player is a 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6 player and banker. The third card is a 2 for a total of 3. So that was a player hand, 6 3, the same score as the one before. 6 3. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a 5 player and 2 banker. Now we need a third card for both of them. The third card for player is 0, so the total player is 5, and the third card for banker is a 0, so banker remains at 2. 5 2, that was a player hand. Now players went ahead, 14 players, 13 bankers. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now it's a natural 9 for banker and 6 players. So that is a banker hand, player 9 banker. Now we have 14 players, 14 bankers, and 3 ties for a total of 17 hands. Next, there is an error here. Let me correct this here. The total of hands is 31 hands. 14 players, 14 bankers, 3 ties for a total of 31 hands, and it matches this number here. I accommodated this the scorecard here for players first, and then bankers, ties, and the last row is bankers. So now we're okay. So we continue. Next hand, we got the first card for player, first card for banker, third card for player, second card player, second card banker. We have a 6 player and a stance, and we need a third card for banker. The third card is a 6. So Player is 6 and banker has a 0. So 6-0. That was a player hand. Next hand is first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a natural 9 player and natural 9 banker. The highest is in a player 9, 8. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a player 2, banker 6. I need a third card for player, and I have a 0. So player remains at 2, and banker, we don't get any more cards for banker, so it remains at 6. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 2 player and 0 banker. We need a third card for both of them. I have a 2 player plus 9, that goes to 11 or 1. And banker has a 0, he gets the third card, and the third card is another 0. So that was a player hand, 1-0. Next hand, first card player, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. We have a natural 8 player, and banker we have 1. So that is another player hand. Next hand is first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 6 player, 1 banker. The 6 player stands with 6, and banker gets a third card, and the third card is a 0. So player 6 and banker 1. Another player hand. Next hand, first card player, second card excuse me, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. We have 7 banker in his stance, and player has 5, so he gets a third card. So the player goes from 5 plus 9, 14 means 4, and banker, no more card for banker, so it's a 7, 4, 7. That is a banker hand. Next card, next hand, first card players, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. I have 4 player, 5 banker, and player gets a third card, and the third card is a 2 for a total of 6. And if I have a 5 on the banker side, I don't get any more cards. I will only get a third card if I get something for 4 to 7, but I got a 2. So no more cards for bankers. It stays 5. 6, 5. That was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker, 0 player, 4 banker, third card for player is a 2. So because I have a 2 as a third card for player, we get a third card if we get anything from 2 to 7. So this 4 gets another card, and that is a 9. So 2 player, 3 banker. So that was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. I have 2 and 6. 2 player and 6 banker. We get a third card for player, and it's a 0. So player remains at 2, and because we got a 0 third card for player, we don't get any more cards for banker, so it stays at 6. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 player, and banker has a 1, so that is a player hand. 8, 1. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 player, and banker we have 3. So A3, next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 7 player and stands, a banker 6 and stands. So this is a player hand, 7, 6. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 2 player and 0 banker. We need a third card for both of them. So this 2 plus 7, total of 9 player and bankers. The third card is a 3. So banker is 3 and player 9. 9, 3, player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker, player 0, banker 3. Third card for player is a 0. So player remains at 0 and we need a third card for banker, and the third card is a 9, so it goes down to 2. 0, 2, that was a banker hand. Next next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 banker and player has 3. Banker natural 8, that was a banker hand, 2 bankers in a row. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a player 2 and banker 4. We need a third card for player and we have a 5. So player goes to 7, and for banker, when we have a 4, if we get anything from 2 to 7, we get a third card, and because we have a 5, we get a third card, and this third card is a 0 for a total of 4 bankers. This was a player hand, 7, 4. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 player and banker we have a 0. So next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a 1 player and 7 banker. Banker doesn't get any more cards and we need a third card for player, and the third card is a 0. So player remains at 1 and banker 7. That was a banker hand. Next next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 1 player, banker 2. We need a third card for both of them. The third card for player is a 0, and the third card for banker is a 4. So player remains at 1, and banker goes to 6. 2 plus 4, 6. Next, next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 4 player and 4 banker. We need a third card for player and it's a 6. So 4 plus 6, 10 or 0, 14, 14 plus 6, 20. That means 0 player and banker. Because we have a 4 and we get a 6, we need to get a third card for banker, and the third card is a 9. So that 4 goes down to 3. 14 plus 9, 23 means 3. So 0, 3. 3 bankers in a row. 23 bankers, 26 players. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, Okay, we are playing hand number 53. The third card for player is a 0 for a total of 4. And because we have a 0 player third card, we don't get any more cards to banker, so it remains at 4. But it's another tie hands, 4 4. We have 26 players, 23 bankers, 4 ties for a total of 53 hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 0 player, 0 banker. We need a third card for both of them. The player goes up to 3 and banker. The third card is a 6 for a total of 6. So 3, 6. That was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 9 player and banker we have 2. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 6 player and stands. And banker, we get a third card for banker. We have a 9 for a total of 10, meaning 0. That was a player hand, 6 0. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 7 player and stands, and banker gets a third card, and the third card is a 4. So for a total of 8, banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Player has a 3 and banker 7. No more cards for banker, and the player gets a third card, and the third card is a 0. So bank player remains at 3 and banker 7. So 3 7. That was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. That's a natural 8 banker. So player gets 3 and banker natural 8. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a 1 player and 0 banker. We need a third card for both of them. Player gets a 0 for so it remains 1 and banker. The third card is an 8. So 1 8. That was a banker hand. We have 4 bankers in a row. Now the score shows 28 players, 28 bankers, 4 ties for a total of 60 hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 9 player and 5 banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 7 banker and it stands, and player gets a third card. So that is a 4 plus 3 is 7 player and 7 banker. That is another tie. A total of 5 ties on the shoe. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 2 player and 2 banker. Both of them get a third card. Uh, uh, Player goes up to 3 and banker gets a third card and it's a 6 for a total of 8. So 3 8. That's a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. That's a 0 player and natural 9 banker. That's another banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. This is a natural 9 banker and 0 player. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. That is another natural 9, natural 8 banker. So player gets a 3 and banker 8. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 4 player and 3 banker. Player gets a third card and it's a 0, so it remains 4. And these 3 banker, we need a third card for banker, and the third card is a 2. So 4 player and banker gets 5. 2 plus 3, 5. So that is another banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 7 player and it stands, and banker gets a third card, and the third card is a 4. So that is a player hand, 7, 4. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 9 player, banker has a 4. Next hand, first card player, first card banker, second card player, second card banker. We have 6 players and it stands, and banker 4 gets a third card, and the third card is a 0. So 6 player, 4 banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 0 player, 1 banker. Player gets a third card and it's a 4. And banker gets a third card and it's a 1 for a total of 2, 4, 2. That is another player hand. 4 players in a row. We have 34 players, 32 bankers, 5 dice for a total of 71 hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 player, but we have a natural 9 banker. Natural 9 is better than natural 8, so that is a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 6 players in his hands, and the banker gets a third card, and it's a 5 for a total of 8. 3 plus 5, 8. That is another banker hand. They are tied here, 34, 34. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. That's a natural 8 player, and banker has a 5. No more cards for either side. Was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 4 player and 1 banker. We need to get a third card for both of them. Player remains at 4 and banker gets 5 for a total of 6. So 1 plus 5, 6 banker. This is a banker hand for 6. Now they are tied, 35, 35. I get the cut card, and the cut card tells me that this is the last hand that we will play on this shoe. First card player, banker, player, banker. We have 4 and 3. Player gets a third card, and the third card is a 1. And because we have a 3 and we got a 1, we need to get a third card for banker, and the third card is a 6. So Players has five, and banker has nine. That was a banker hand. So the shoe had 35 players, 36 bankers, five ties, and that was the last hand. This is the remaining of the shoe. This is the remaining. We go over the scorecard. So total of hands 76. We see here 76 hands, 76 hands, and we come here to see we see any patterns. We have three players here, three players here, four players here, three bankers. That was every 11, every 10 we have two bankers, one player, three more bankers here, three players, four bankers here, three bankers here. This is a nice pattern. In row number 5, for one every 10. Row number 5, we have six players in a row, four players in a row here. Every 9, we see here banker, player, three bankers, player, three more bankers. Four players here. We see these three ties here. That's a nice pattern too. Three players. We have every 8. We have a row here of five players. We have two bankers, one player, three bankers. We have here five players in a row. Every 7, we have four bankers. We have here three players, excuse me, three bankers, one player, four more bankers. And we have here in every 7, row number 2, we have six players in a row. Um, every 6, we see here in every 6, we have five bankers in a row. In row number 2, in row number 1, we have five players in a row. We have six bankers in a row here, four bankers in a row here, five bankers in a row here. Every 6, every 5 now, we have five players in a row here, three bankers, one player, two bankers, three players in a row here. Every 4, we have here 3, 6, 8 players in a row. We have four bankers, three bankers here in a row. Every 3, we have here 3, 6, 7 players in a row, and here 3, 6 bankers in a row. Here 4 players in a row, and every 2 hands we have here 3 players, 1 tie, 3 more players. We have 4 bankers in a row here, 3 players in a row here, 4 players in a row here, 3 bankers in a row here, and that's it. Those are the different ways that you can write down the game. There are many ways that you can write down the games. But if you go to the casino, I recommend for you to just write the game only one way and follow that one. Don't combine more than one way to score to write down the scorecards because you can get confused. Uh, so this is the end of the show. Thank you for your attention. If you like the work that I do, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I need some subscribers. You can make comments. You can ask me questions in the comment section. You can visit my website, juancarlosmonsalve.com, where you find these scorecards available in a PDF form, so you can review the scorecards in your own time, and you can print them. You can do anything you want to do with them. They are free. They are available there. Uh, wanted to share this information with you. I find it interesting. I've been studying this game for quite some time. Great strategies. Don't just do one strategy. Don't spend too much time at the casino. Go to the casino. Try to make your money in a few minutes. Few units, probably 5 units is my favorite number of units when I go. 5 units and go out, get out, come back probably the same day, probably the following day. Don't go too many times to the same casino. That's one of the problems that I have here where I live is that I only have one casino about 45 minutes from home. The next casino is not until 2 hours away, and one and a half more hours for a total of 4 hours when I have to go back home. So it's not too close. I put too many miles in my car when I do all three casinos in the same day. So there are some places like Biloxi, Mississippi. I've been there, and about an hour away, New Orleans, and also I've been in Vegas. Plenty of casinos there, so you can go to one casino and then another one and then another one. Don't stay at the same casino for a long time. Those are pieces of advice that I can tell you. I'm not an expert, but I like the game. I like to study the game. So thank you for your attention, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.